For the number one word problem, our mean is 215, our standard deviation is 15, our x is 220. We will use the formula z is equals to x minus mean over standard deviation, which we will substitute 220 minus 215 over 15 by the use of calculator is equals to 0.33. Now, by the use of 0.93, we will look into the z table in finding the probability, which will be 0.1293. Now, minus it by 0.5000 minus 0.1293 by the use of calculator, the answer is 0.3707 or 37.07%. Now, for the letter B, our mean is still 215, our standard deviation is still 15, but we have now n, which is the samples, is equals to 25, and our x is 220. We will use the formula z is equals to x minus mean over standard deviation over square root of n. Substitute it, 220 minus 215 over 15 over square root of 25. By the use of calculator, the answer is 1.67. Afterwards, we will use 1.67 in looking towards the z table in finding the probability, which is 0.4525. Afterwards, minus it with 0.5000 minus 0.4525. By the use of calculator, the answer is 0.0475 or 4.75%.
So for number 2, we have the average public school has 468 students with a standard deviation of 87. And the A is the probability that the number of students enrolled is greater than 400. So the mean is 468, SO is 87, value is 400. So we have to solve this one to get the answer, and the answer would be 0.783. So for the B, we have the given. Mean is 468, standard deviation is 87, x bar is 445 and 485, n is 38. So first we have to solve this one to get the answer, and the answer would be negative 1.63. So using the z table, the answer is 0.8333 or 83.33% converted to percentage.
3. Get the weight of each member of the group. Consider samples of size 3 that can be drawn from this population. So the given here are the weights of my group members in kilograms. 44, 45, 55, 56, and 90. So letter A. How many possible samples can be drawn? Here we use combinations to find the answer. So the n here is the 5, and the size 3 is the r. So fractional of 5 is 60. Then as we solve that all, we will get the answer, which is 10. So in the next letter B, list all of the possible samples and corresponding means. So we list all the samples here from the weights of my group member and find the mean by multiplying this 3 here. So in letter C, construct the sampling distribution of sample means. So the mean here are the 48, 48.33, 59.67, 51.67, 63, 63.33, 52, 63.33, 63.67, and 67. So the frequency here are all 1, then the P and X is 1 to 10. So that's all.
For our performance task number 4, the scores of individual students on the national test have a normal distribution with mean 18.6 and a standard deviation 5.9. At Science and Technology Education Center, 76 senior high school students took the test. If the scores at the school have the same distribution as the national scores, What are the mean and standard deviation of the sample mean for students? So, if the mean is 18.6 and the standard deviation is 5.8, so our sample mean is also 18.6 and our standard deviation is 5.8.
For number 5, in a study of life expectancy of 400 people in a certain geographic region, the mean age at death was 70 years and standard deviation was 5.1 years. If a sample of 50 people from this region is selected, what is the probability that the mean life expectancy will be less than 68 years? We will use the formula z equals x minus mean divided by standard deviation over the square root of n. So we will substitute 68 here minus 70 divided by 5.1 over the square root of 50. We will get z equals 2.77 and we will find it in the z-score. We will get 0.4972 and then we will subtract it. 0.5 minus 0.4972 is equal to 0.0028. So in order to get the probability, we must multiply it by 100, so we will get 0.28%.